Welcome to This Explainer. You know, you're an ambitious person. You've got these huge dreams. You want to be successful, make a great living, and just live your ideal life. But there's this incredibly heavy weight pulling you down, right? It's that nagging guilt of not taking action. You know exactly what you need to do, and you even know how to do it. But you just don't. And man, then comes that stinging feeling of guilt, purely because you know you're capable of so much more. Eventually, that guilt just morphs into this let it go attitude. Well, today, we're breaking down a really fascinating concept from our source material that is going to completely change how you view your own productivity. We are going to kill that laziness for good.
Okay, let's dive into this. Are you actually lazy? I mean, you probably feel like you are, right? When you don't take action, you just kind of accept it. You start thinking your lack of progress is this deep-seated character flaw. You tell yourself, well, I'm just a lazy person. I guess that's just who I am. But what if I told you that your lack of progress has absolutely nothing to do with laziness? Seriously, we are going to completely challenge that assumption today. Now, before we actually fix the problem, we've got to acknowledge a painfully familiar cycle. You know the drill. Every single new year, we set these absolutely massive goals. We're going to fix everything at once. Hit the gym every single day, study consistently, finally do that massive phone detox. And sure, for the first few days, motivation is sky high. But then, the old pattern inevitably returns. Procrastination sneaks back in like this unwanted guest that just shows up uninvited to your house and refuses to leave. A single lazy day slowly turns into a permanent, daily habit. Let's be real. We have all been trapped in this loop.
Section 1. The Physics of Laziness. Reframing the problem of procrastination.
So here is the massive mindset shift we're exploring today in this explainer. You are not lazy. You are actually just trapped by a fundamental law of physics. It's called inertia. Basically, it states that an object at rest wants to stay at rest, and an object in motion wants to stay in motion. Now, you might be thinking, what does physics have to do with me? Well, this invisible barrier isn't just for rocks and planets floating in space. It applies flawlessly to human behavior too. You see, you aren't lacking willpower. You are literally just stuck in a state of rest, fighting against inertia. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what's happening in your brain every single day. When you're at rest, you require an external push to get moving, which, let's face it, feels totally exhausting. But once you're actually in motion, you build your own momentum. We really only need a tiny, tiny push to transition from rest to motion, but our brains play this trick on us. They make that very first step seem like an impossibly huge mountain to climb, so we just never even try to take it. Just think about how this plays out in real life. When you tell yourself, oh, I need to write a 5,000-word essay, or I've got to revise the entire syllabus by tomorrow, your brain immediately hits this giant mental block. It essentially screams, that's impossible. I don't have the time or the energy for that. But if you apply what we call a smart start, and you just say, you know what, I'm just going to write 5 words, your brain totally drops its defenses. It says, oh, well, 50 words? That's easy. The real problem isn't actually the work itself. It's the psychological friction of just starting.
Section 2. The 2-minute rule. Breaking inertia with micro-actions.
So the crucial point is, we need a reliable, actionable way to hack our brain's resistance every single time. And the 2-minute rule method is absolutely the ultimate solution for this. Here are the surprisingly simple steps to execute this method. Step 1. When you feel that heavy resistance, just commit to doing the task for exactly 2 minutes, and then tell yourself you can shut it down. Step 2. Literally just start that micro task. Actually, scratch that. Don't even commit to studying for 3 hours. Just commit to opening your notes and looking at the page for 2 minutes. Step 3. Let natural momentum take over. The brilliant, game-changing part here is that your goal is absolutely not to finish the work. Your only goal is merely to start it. Let's look at a highly relatable example from our source material. Imagine your room is just a total mess. It's a disaster. You have zero mood to clean it, and the thought of tackling the whole thing feels like an impossible, paralyzing task. But if you apply the 2-minute hack, you simply play one single song on your phone, and you agree to clean only while that specific track is playing. By tying the chore to this tiny micro-action, you completely trick your mind into motion.
It's exactly like pushing a heavy boulder. Think about the physics again for a second. Getting that giant rock to budge that very first millimeter requires an enormous amount of effort, right? It feels incredibly hard. But once it starts rolling, it easily rolls on its own. The energy, the focus, and the motivation naturally, automatically return once you are already in motion.
In most cases, you won't even stop after the song ends or after the 2 minutes are up because the momentum has firmly kicked in. Section 3. Building unstoppable momentum. The compounding effect of small starts. Let's move to and see how this builds over time. We've talked about surviving today's tasks, but what about the big picture? I want you to imagine where your stalled long-term goals will be in just 30 days. What if for the next month you simply committed to starting? Just 2 minutes of reading, just 5 minutes of exercise, just writing 10 lines of text. Those massive goals that have literally been stuck for years will slowly start to materialize and actually get completed. The real magic isn't in some massive daily effort. It's in daily, frictionless starting. This brings us to a really beautiful thought highlighted in our source material. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. That's from Martin Luther King Jr., and it brilliantly encapsulates everything we've uncovered in this explainer. See, your problem has never been a lack of motivation. You have the ambition. The secret to killing laziness is simply giving yourself permission to ignore the rest of the staircase and just take that very first tiny 2-minute step. Momentum will absolutely handle the rest. So, I'll leave you with this provocative question to think about right now. What will your next 2 minutes look like? Remember, you are not lazy. You just haven't started yet. And starting is always the very first step to winning. Pick that one task you've been putting off, set a timer for exactly 2 minutes, and just give that ball a push. Let momentum take over. Go conquer those next 2 minutes.